Okay, guys, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee. It's a Shabbat, so I send my shalom to my Shabbat shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach. It's the 29th of March. It's 9:35. We just moved our clock ahead. 9:35 in the a.m. in the morning. And what we're going to do today is go through the Daughter of Babylon. Yesterday I didn't finish it. I was worried about um, the phone going out of battery and ruining the live stream, and I don't know what was going on. If I try to check the charge on the phone during the live stream, it'll probably cancel the live stream. The phone is very old. So hopefully Sunday I'll have a new phone, and a couple of days after that I'll have a new tablet, a Samsung. That's where it looks like, so it's not going to be much longer. I can't use this iPad to do the broadcast because I need it to do the Bible stuff and other things I'm going to do with you today. So the Lord asked me why I didn't finish with the Daughter of Babylon yesterday. And I said, because I was worried about the equipment. And he accepted that, I guess, because he knew I was worried. So if any of you were here yesterday or listening to the video yesterday, and now you're compelled to come back again, it's probably because what we're going to go through today, it's going to be very, very insightful. Am I changing or reversing doctrines? No. What I'm doing is adding details to it, okay? And insight and sequencing and things like that. So you're probably really going to enjoy it. All right, very fast, the news, nothing revolutionary. There's a rumor that Hamas is going to do a ceasefire of some sort with Israel on Sunday. I did not get any official announcement from the government, but what we're hearing is Egypt got a nod of okay from Hamas and from Israel about something. Details are not yet out there. Do I think it will happen? Probably not, because Hamas will interpret Israel's desire to get hostages back and make some sort of ceasefire as weakness and increase their demands. That's typically their pattern, okay? That's the way they roll. So we'll see. Curiously, this could have been brewing for a while, and Netanyahu is now lighting up Lebanon. Badly. I mean, he's bombing in Beirut now, Of course, what was it, Friday or Thursday? I think it was Thursday. They fired 2 or 3 missiles at Kiryat Shmona, which is a border town with Lebanon, on the border of Lebanon, and they would, or I think it was 2 or 3, they were either fell inside Lebanon or were taken down. So there was, like, I don't know, 20 attacks or something like that inside Lebanon, maybe more, quite a bit. America did 66 attacks last night in Yemen. So Trump is pounding Yemen. Let's not kid ourselves. Trump is saying that Iran needs to reach a deal with Trump, and Trump is very happy to make a deal which would involve a permanent no nuclear stuff going on in Iran, or he was threatening him. He's saying, or else bad things will happen to Iran, and then he, in another time, said things that were even more harsh than that. Can't remember the exact words. So Lebanon said they would have negotiated through a third party. Iran said they would negotiate through a third party, but not, with a lack of respect and threatening. So I don't think any negotiations will come with Iran. Okay. I'm not hearing about any new equipment transfers to uh, Diego Garcia. Not picking anything up like that. We're not getting any tensions or fighting coming out of Syria or Iraq. Yemen keeps trying to launch missiles. Now we're picking up weird stuff in Israel. Shrapnel is falling inside Israel from Yemen attacks, and the government is telling us that these missiles were taken down outside of Israel. So there's an anomaly here. Something's wrong. I don't quite understand what it is. Okay, it's not that the missiles were falling 300 yards inside Israel. They were quite a ways inside Israel. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on yet. It could be, I don't know what it is. It's not like Israel to lie to the people and tell them that missiles were taken down repeatedly over and over outside of Israel and they were taken down inside of Israel. That doesn't make sense. They don't do that unless they've changed. They don't do that. So I'm not sure what's up. Okay. Maybe the reports are false and people are just trying to throw mud at Netanyahu. That's a very likely explanation. Okay. Let me, and we're going to do a very, very big deep dive into Daughter of Babylon America, and I'm going to show you a lot of insights as to what countries will be attacking America. And yes, Iran is in the attack. And there's a lot of implications. So we'll cover all that when I get into the Bible study, okay? So there's not going to be a lot of news because there's not a lot of news to cover. We had a rain shower this morning. It lasted maybe 5 minutes. It was a reasonable rain. It wasn't a torrential downpour. It was unexpected. And it got chilly again, but we'll be in the 70s today. Um, we'll be at 74 as the high, I believe. And why am I on this screen? I don't know. Oh, I know how to get rid of it. Okay. I want to make sure we got a live stream. How to get rid of it? Okay. Yep, we got it. Sound,
I
picture,
want to make sure we
people
got
are
a
coming
live.
in and everything. Okay. All right, I'm going to put a few quick posts up in the chat very quickly. And we're going to just wait for people to come in too, so it kills two birds with one stone. All right, so sit tight. If you're looking for a lot of news and intel that's not Bible based, you're not going to get it today. If you're looking for Bible based insights as to what's going on with the news and everything else, you're going to get a ton of it today. All right. I'm going to get my email address up and then we'll get moving. right, I think everything came out okay. And I'm going to do some praise and we'll get going. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 All right, I'm going to let me work on my screen here a little bit. It's really bright. Dim it a little. Okay. Now let me jump back in my notes and see if there were any other brief things going on in the world that I should tell you. You'll see that the in the Daughter of Babylon, Star Spangled Banner, right? They fail to fight. They're scared. They're fearful. They don't come out of their holds. They fail to fight. Well, God sort of did that to the Jews in the 1939 era. There were Jews that did form a resistance, but for the most part, they were just scared. They went into the Warsaw Ghetto. They got in from other places. They just got on the trains and went to the camps and then marched. Then went in the gas chambers. This is the kind of thing that happened. Okay, they didn't care. Well, they didn't fight back. They didn't rise up in general. Maybe 5% of them or something, or 3% were doing that, but for the most part, they didn't. And that's what's going to happen in America. So they talk tough and they're survivalist purpose, and just wait till it comes. You'll see they'll be scared to do anything because he is God. Okay, so that's how that's going to develop in a similar way. Okay. When you read of Isaiah 47, sit down in the dust, no throne, grind the mill, grind the whatever it is, the grains in the mill and all that stuff. That's poor economic conditions. So there's a million people saying that the tariff thing that Trump is pulling doesn't work historically, and it's going to cause economic problems in America. And there are other economic problems in America. And BRICS is trying to emerge, which, if prophetically time allows, they'll cause more economic problems. Remember in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, earthquakes. Luke, I think in 21, it might be 17, but I think it's Luke 21. It says great earthquakes in diverse places. Well, we just saw one in Myanmar, what was that Thailand thing? Whole buildings are collapsing, and they say thousands of people are dead and it's missing and injured. So, I would say that's a great earthquake, 7.7. So tomorrow we'll see if they really do reach some sort of peace deal. I'm not expecting it. But Netanyahu is increasing the Lebanon war, so it might actually happen because he needs to keep us at war to stay out of court on his 3 criminal charges. Nice guy. Zelensky backed out of the mineral deal with Trump, saying he wanted more stuff from Trump. I don't know what he wanted. Military money, military equipment. So Trump announced it looks like he has to deal with Zelensky for the second time, and Zelensky bowed out. So I think Trump's patience are over with Zelensky. I don't know what he'll do. It could be just wash his hands of it. And if Europe and NATO want to mess with him and support him, I don't think Trump cares. Okay, prayer requests. We have a prayer request for all of the believers in Ontario, Canada. Pray that their power stays on if they get affected by an ice storm over the weekend. One more time. Pray for the true believers in Ontario, Canada, that their power stays on because there's possibly an ice storm coming into Ontario, Canada over the weekend. Next prayer request, KG, Kilo Girl, KG, Kilo Girl. Pray for a safe trip. I don't want to give the destinations. KG, Kilo Girl, pray for a safe trip. A traveler's prayer, no lost baggage, no misconnections, no getting stranded or lost luggage. For KG. Next is for RG, Romeo Girl, RG, Romeo Girl, RG, to not have shingles. So RG, Romeo Girl, to not have shingles. That's a disease. And if so, healing from shingles. Also skin cancer. So I'll repeat. RG, Romeo Girl, to not have shingles or skin cancer, and for healing if there is something there, so it's not there anymore. That says it pretty good for RG. MC, Mike Charlie, MC, Mike Charlie, to reach out and connect with parents. MC Mike Charlie, to reach out and connect with parents. Okay, let me delete some of this stuff. Also, you want to remember storms, tempests, whirlwinds. America's been getting a lot of that, not just fires. Okay? It's a possibility that there would be some sort of a peace deal with Gaza that's serious because Netanyahu lit off Lebanon. Okay, that is it. Now I'm going to look at the chat, see if we got garbage, and then we'll get into the Bible work. All right. Probably not going to get many people in here today. They don't want to hear the Bible. I was listening to some guy who does very good discussions about news online. He's very good at it. And, he says he's a Christian, and talks about Ezekiel 38 all the time. All the trouble in the world means it's going to Ezekiel 38. No concept of the way out of sync timing by practically 70 years, but they don't know. And, people are getting in there and talking about, these are my last days on earth before I get up in the rapture. It's horrible. These people think they're the elect. They have another Jesus, another gospel, and they receive another spirit, and they run around saying they're the elect. Those are the tares, as in the tares in wheat in Matthew 13. It's terrible. It really is. don't see any of these big sites ever talk about the daughter of Babylon. I don't see the big churchianity networks ever talk about the daughter of Babylon. They don't want the people to know it because they're afraid if the people know it, they'll believe it. And they think that if they believe it, it'll come to pass. I don't think they pay any real attention to anything biblical, I mean, they don't, you know. If they thought that you couldn't stop Bible prophecy, they wouldn't be Satanists, would they? No. So they think they can get out from under Bible prophecy. They think they already won or something. It's delusional. All right, enough. Let's get into it. The word that Jehovah spake, Jeremiah 50, verse 1. The word that Jehovah spake against Babel, you see in the text, it doesn't ever say Babylon. That's only English translations. It says Babel, and that word means confusion. And I would say America's really confused. And against the land of the Chaldeans, those were the witches in the old Babylon, and America's got plenty of them today in all the governments and the big industries and the entertainment and the music and all over the place, loaded with them. By Jeremiah the prophet, declare you among the Goyim, the heathen nations, this could mean, and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not, say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, and Merodach is broken. These are old. Bel is, in general, demon idol thing, and Merodach was a former leader that was, I believe, I think I have it right. He was holding himself out to be a deity. This is just false god stuff, and it references the old Babylon. Now, it says in the daughter of Babylon that nobody is going to live there anymore. It's going to be a desolation, okay? That's the daughter of Babylon, America. The original Babylon, or the original Babel, is found in Iraq. Do people live in Iraq today? Yes. Is it desolate? No. Was it ever washed over with waves and stuff? No. It's not the old Babylon. It's calling that because it's the same unclean spirits that were running Babylon have been running America. That's my understanding of it. Okay. Verse 3. For out of the north there cometh a nation, it would mean Goyim, heathen nation, against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. Okay, so there are people that are going to be getting out of the daughter of Babylon, not just the believers in the 12 tribes, but a lot of the people that were workers in agriculture will be leaving and going back to their own country. There's people that are going to get out. It says for the oppressing sword with the agriculture workers. And I think that Ken, as a subscriber pointed out to me a few days ago, that could very well mean Trump. He's telling them they better get out on their own now, otherwise they're going to, get arrested, put in jail. And he's talking about putting them in El Salvador, like he's saying people that are attacking the Tesla cars, he's calling them terrorists, and he's saying he'll put them in El Salvador, in jail there. So he may do some harsh stuff, or he probably already is, to the illegals. Like, what is harsh stuff? Well, it's easy to imagine. You put them in cells that are in a jail. You don't let them go run around out in the yard in a minimum security place. You keep them in tight security, and you make them wear the jumpsuit, and you give them um, a bologna sandwich. What do you get for breakfast? So they get 2 eggs and 2 strips of bacon and 2 pieces of toast, right? And coffee or water or maybe some junky juice made out of powder concentrates or something, right? Okay, that could work. Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't it? For lunch, they get a bologna sandwich. What about dinner? Could be another bologna sandwich. It could be something slightly different. What could they do? Oh, who knows? There's a million things they could do for dinner, but they're not going to do, you know, anything really great. Okay. And then what? They just stay locked up. They're not going out. They're not playing basketball or volleyball or jogging around the yard or going to movies or buying goods in the commissary or playing cards outside and having a good time. It could be that kind of place. I don't know. I'm not sure what. I don't think he's going to send him to El Salvador. The courts will bust the gut, but maybe he will. I don't see it, though. I think he'll keep him in prison for an unpleasant experience for 1, 2, or maybe 3 or 4 months maximum until they can process him out and then just kick them out, send them back to their home country, I'm guessing. Okay, out of the north. Well, you see, it doesn't say they shall come from the north. It does in other places. In this place, it says out of the north. Now, we better break the words down so we understand what it says from. Yeah, it's saying from north. So it's pretty okay. I think it might be better translated that from north there cometh up, well, okay, a goyim, heathen nation, or heathens. I would just say it means heathens. Against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. That means forevermore. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. Verse 4, in those days and in that time, saith Jehovah. So I think the north is Canada. Okay, now let's read into this as, possible. I do this to make sure I'm online. What are some possible implications? Well, the new guy in Canada said a friendly relation or close relationship, I think he said, with America is over tariffs, and that's rather serious. So Trump is probably going to start bullying them using tariffs and possibly sanctions eventually. I don't know. And they may just get super frustrated and afraid that Trump is going to come annex Canada as a state. And then, the FBI is there and everything else. And, they'll arrest the existing politicians. Well, the national government of Canada would no longer exist. They would just ban it. They would make the Canadian Parliament or Congress, whatever they call it, into a state legislature. And the leader of Canada would revert to being a governor and a deputy governor, the two leaders. And they would be under federal law and federal jurisdiction. And our military would move in to set up bases, missile defense systems, and all that. So, what are the two possibilities if they get scared to this extent? Well, they go to China or they go to Russia. Who else are they going to go to? Brazil? Mexico? Who are they going to go? They go to China or Russia. And see if any of them want to make significant investments in Canada with the government, maybe joint ventures and minerals and oil, precious metals or wood or I don't know what. And then to protect their investment, they bring soldiers in to create a deterrent against Trump. But bringing soldiers in also positions them to attack America very astutely, in a very clever way. Okay. Do I think this could happen? Real likely. Trump is truly the hammer of the whole earth and the great voice. I mean, this guy really goes to town. So, for out of the north there cometh a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. So it's rather curious that the beast, which is a general word for, like, I think, yeah, I'll look it up. I think the word is coyote, which is animals in general. See, the word in Hebrew, gan, is like a playground, or the Garden of Eden is Gan Eden. And a zoo is called Gan Coyote, which is general animals. What is this word? It's another word. Behemoth. I think it's collectively beasts and animals. In those days and in that time, saith Jehovah, the children of Israel, it doesn't say that, it says sons of Israel, Ben, which could mean women as well in this context, I think, shall come. They, and then it says children of Judah. So you've got Ben Judah and Ben Israel. So it covers all the 12 tribes together. Well, remember, the two sticks will be one in his hand. Going and weeping. That's because now they know who the Lord is. That's why they're weeping. They know who the Messiah is. Because he already appeared and they have everlasting life. As I read it, they shall, as I understand it, they shall go and seek Jehovah Elohim. Why would they do that if they didn't get converted, you know? They shall ask the way to Zion. I imagine he pours his spirit out on them first. Now, the true believers already have his spirit. So. The Israelis I'm talking about. Because all the 12 tribes get the everlasting life. And they enter into the second 70 of Daniel 9:24, which doesn't say 70 weeks. It says 70, 70, two 70s. First was 70 year Babylonian captivity. The second is just new phase Israel goes through for 70 years. And they have everlasting life, which means they could still die. It says, my people's days shall be like that of a tree. Well, trees can go 1 or 2 or 3,000 years, but they die. A child shall die at 100. So they'll be young again. In Malachi 4, it says they'll jump out of the stall like the calf. And in other places, it says they shall run and not be weary, so we'll be completely different. Maybe that's the way people were before the flood, because they lived over 900 years. But we only have to make it 70 years, and then we get into New Jerusalem, where it says there is no death. So you eat of the tree of life and drink of the water of life in New Jerusalem, and you don't die. But you probably do not have a spiritual body either. Unless I'm wrong about that, but I don't think so. Maybe I am. I don't know. We'll find out. So the 70 years is like a testing period for the world and Israel. Verse 5, they shall ask the way to Zion. That's the Israel that we have today. It's Zion in Hebrew. It means a dry parched place. And that's what America turns into, a dry parched place. With their face thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to Jehovah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people hath been lost sheep. Well, that's a direct pointing to us of the 10 lost tribes, I think. And there's a lot of lost Judah and Levi too. They don't know who they are. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. That brings us to Ezekiel 37, where the bad shepherds and the big cattle, the millionaires, the billionaires, and the government, the rabbis, the shepherds, the bad ones get cut off. That's the 2/3 getting cut off. It's in there. The 2/3 is broader than just the government and the rabbis. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Those are the rotten leaders in the synagogues and the government. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So a lot more of the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes, Levi and Judah, are living amongst the nations. They don't want to live in Israel. It's so hard to live here. They don't want it. They don't have faith. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Jehovah. The habitation of justice. Even Jehovah, the hope of their fathers. And that word is means hope. It should be the national anthem, Hatikva, means the hope. And they're aware of redemption and all of that, believe me. Church isn't, they are. Remove out of the midst of Babel and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the he-goats among the flocks. That's They shall jump out of the stall like a baby calf, will be very virile. For I will raise and cause to come up against Babel an assembly of great, that's Gadol, I think, let's check. Yeah, Gadol heathens from the north country, and we'll get into that later. That, I believe, is referencing north of Israel. And they shall set themselves in array against her from thence. Let me surround her like Israel surrounded in Zechariah 12. They reap what they sow. She shall be taken, their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea, that's America's daughter of Babylon, shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Jehovah. So they're going to loot, plunder, and pillage America. Probably rape and kill and burn, all kinds of sick stuff. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O you destroyers of my heritage. The inheritance is speaking of Israel, because they inherit the land. Because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. That's them. Your mother shall be a sore. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. That's probably referencing back unclean spirits to the original Babylon that had built up America. Shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations, the most recent of the heathen nations, shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because the wrath of Jehovah, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. It might mean whistle, like, look how bad it is, Put yourselves in array against Babel round about, just like Israel surrounded in Zechariah 12. They're going to do it to Babylon. And yes, I think Biden and Netanyahu let October 7th happen. So that puts blame on Biden. Also, now it's coming out that Biden was funding protesters in Israel and giving millions and millions of dollars to Hamas. That could cause a lot of trouble in America. Round about all you that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she had sinned against the Lord constantly. They don't want Israel getting the land back. They made us leave Gaza originally. Look what happened. They made us give the Sinai Peninsula. So what happened? We gave Gaza back, which is wrong. Israel never should have done it. And Netanyahu was one of the proponents for giving it back. And it turned into a weapon to be used against us. We gave the Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt under Jimmy Carter, and now they got 100,000 soldiers there with artillery pointed at us. See? Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. That means to surrender. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. There you go. Cut off the sower from Babel, and him that handleth the sword. The sower plants the seeds. Him that handles the sickle of the harvesters, the agricultural workers. In the time of harvest, for fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, every one to his own land. Sorry, they shall flee, every one to his own land. They go back to their own country. That's already happening. A lot of them are flooding into Canada. I think those are the sleeper agents. And they're going to wait in Canada and come in from Canada. How about them apples? Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria hath devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, hath broken his bones. Hath broken his bones. See, that's pretty bad. I told you when October 7th started, way back then, that it was about Iran. And on the way, they were going to bust Israel up too. It's not over yet. Give it a chance. Therefore, thus saith Jehovah of hosts, the God, it's Elohim Yisrael, God of Israel. But the word Elohim is plural. Behold, I will punish the king of Babel, that's whoever is president at the time, and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. And I will bring Israel again to his habitation. That's here, the land of Israel. And he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be places in Israel, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. Though in those days, and I don't know if we have Mount Ephraim, it could be in the West Bank. I don't think we have that yet. Gilead, I believe, is in the West Bank. But anyway, let's keep going. In those days and in that time, well, let me see if I could isolate this for you. Let me get it down for you. Hold on. It's somewhere near Israel, Ephraim. To the north of it. It's in Jordan, by the Jordan River. Okay. So that's Jordan, not the West Bank. When he talks about the arrows, I believe those are missiles, and the bow would be the missile launcher. Because the people wouldn't know when this was written what it means if he said a missile and a missile launcher or a rocket. Shout against her round about. She hath given. Okay, we covered that. Given her hand. Okay, Bashan is in here. I think that's in Jordan too. East of the Jordan. That would be in Jordan. And Carmel is Mount Carmel, it's near Haifa. That's where Elijah's cave was. Okay. Verse 20. In those days and in that time, saith Jehovah, the lawlessness of Israel shall be sought for. That's the Satanists wanting that so they could curse us because we're giving place to the devil. So in those days and in that time, saith Jehovah, the lawlessness of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Judah, they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. Remnant. Okay? That's what the Bible says. And he does it. If you read Zechariah 12 and 13, you see it there. Go up against the land of Marathaim. And that's the referencing back to Babel. I literally, is it it's sort of another word for the original Babel. Even against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod, same like Marathaim. Waste and utterly destroy after them, saith Jehovah, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. So he's behind these soldiers attacking America. No, they don't want to hear any of this. The church people and survivalists and preppers, they don't want to hear this. They get mad at you, they run away, they don't want the truth. They're not of the truth. So he commands them to do it. Verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land. That's, I believe, in the land of Babylon, America, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth, it could only be America, cut asunder and broken? How is Babel become a desolation among the heathen nations? I have laid a snare for thee. And Trump's walking into it. And thou art also taken, O Babel, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Jehovah. Does he want to see Israel have the land from the river, from the Euphrates to the Nile? No. He wants to keep the Muslims living there. And he wants to give Gaza to America, not give it back to Israel. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Jehovah. The Lord hath opened his armory, weapon storage, right? And hath brought forth the weapons of his anger, his indignation, for this is the work of Adonai Jehovah of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. That's America. Come against her from the utmost border. That could be Canada, or you could argue even Alaska, but Alaska is detached from the main states, but come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouses. That can mean anything, any kind of warehouse, you know. Cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks. I think that's like the police, not the military. They're bulls, okay? In the streets in New York when I was a kid, they called the detectives of the police department in New York bulls. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. That's usually a very bad thing. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babel, that's you all. To declare in Zion the vengeance of Jehovah our God, the vengeance of his temple. Well, see, this is not in timing for right now. But this seems to be a general exodus out of there for a huge amount of people. The vengeance of his temple. So something is going to happen with either the next temple, or he's referencing this back to what happened, what the Babylonians did to the temple. They burned it and everything, and they took all the artifacts out and brought them back to Babylon, all this kind of stuff, The vengeance of, and they killed lots and lots of Israelites, lots and lots. The ones that didn't go to Babylon some years later kept staying there, thinking nothing was going to happen to them, and it did happen. They got killed. The vengeance of Jehovah Elohim, the vengeance of his temple. It could also mean they do things to the next temple. We'll cover that soon. Call together the archers against Babel, all ye that bend the bow. Camp against it round about. That's exactly what's going to happen in Zechariah 12. It's already begun. Gaza, Lebanon, Syria off and on. You got Yemen a little further away. You got Iran. Jordan will join in. They're all going to go down. Except the Mon, northern Jordan. They submit to Israel and they live and they prosper and become friends with Israel. Probably serve Jehovah. Call together the archers against Babel, the missile launchers. All you that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. So, let none escape would sound to me that it's hard to get all the sequencing. That means the believers should be out of there by then, no? So it's kind of curious. But they go to Israel and they tell the Israelites about the vengeance of the Lord on Babylon. So they're there for some of it anyway. Right? So there's some things you have to just wait for them to play out. According to all that he hath done, do unto her, as she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against Jehovah, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off. And the word for all here is correct, call. And then the word for men, ish, yeah, that's right. And war. Okay, now I'm in, what happened? Thing jumped ahead on me, sorry. Verse 30, Jeremiah 50, verse 30. Therefore, shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Jehovah. Does it mean all of them, no matter where in the world they are? I believe so, but let's keep reading. Verse 31, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Adonai Jehovah of armies, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. That's doom and gloom. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up, and I will kindle a fire in his cities. Does it say, and I will kindle? No, it's one word, and it's 33:14 in 33:41 in Strong's. It's saith, and it pretty much just means be desolate, kindle. It's definitely related to fire. Kindle fire in the cities, and it shall devour all round about him. I keep telling you to watch the fires. It's already started. It's already well on its way. Carolinas, California, Colorado, Texas, many places. Thus saith Florida, if I didn't say that, thus saith Jehovah of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were, they added the word oppressed. It just says oppressed because it's still oppressing us together. And all that took them captives. No, it's not for now. It's a general look back in history. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Okay. Their Redeemer is strong. Jehovah of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause. It doesn't plead is not the right word. It's judge or to strive, to fight. I mean, if you're striving with somebody, you're fighting with them. He's basically backing us up. That he may give rest to the land, Haaretz, that's the land of Israel, and disquiet, make afraid or mess up their heads, disquiet. He's going to make it's disquiet is different kind of word, really, to make them quiver, very fearful, like, super scared. Quake is a good way of putting it, like tremble, quake. The inhabitants of Babel, they're going to get scared. They're getting there. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, that's the Americans, saith Jehovah, and upon the inhabitants of Babel, same thing, and upon her princes and upon her wise men, her advisors, her billionaires, that kind of thing. The princes would be like the big shots in the government, I guess. A sword is upon their horses. That's Zeus. It could mean aircraft. It could like a swallow. It could mean a horse. And upon their chariots, maybe those are tanks or vehicles. And upon all the mingled people. Who do they call the mixing pot? But America, the mingled people, right? That's in Jeremiah 50, verse 37. That are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. But the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. It'll work its way back to us. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, though they are mad upon their idols. So it's hard for me to do it with just a phone for a picture, but if you look up Greek temples and Roman temples, you'll see they got the pillars and the Tiffium, this triangular piece on the top. And that's the Supreme Court building. The White House has it, state capitals have it. Lots of buildings have it in the governments in America. It's a temple. They worship the demons there. The New York Stock Exchange building has it. That's a shrine or a temple to them. You know, they got idols all over the place. I'm going to try to show it to you on this screen. I don't know how well I'll do, but we'll try. I'm going to go quick with this. It's not going to take long. Here's a Roman temple called the Pantheon. Notice the triangular Tiffium at the top and the pillars. All right, that's a typical Roman temple. Here's one other one. Let's see. This one is in ruins, but you could get the idea. That's the Temple of Bacchus. Let's see if they got any better images. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. Can't even see that one. Here's another one. Here's another one you could see. Okay. That's your Roman temple. Now let's take a look at a Greek temple. Here's the Greek temple. You can see the same Tiffium, the triangular piece, and the pillars. Another Greek temple, you could see the Tiffium piece and the pillars. I think you got the idea. Now let's take a look at the White House. Not a very good picture. Come on, iPad, wake up. What the heck? Try again. Let me go to images. Washed out picture. Here it is. You got the Tiffium and the pillars. That's your White House. Looks like the Pantheon, even with the little fat statue singing in the front. Well, kind of, they have a statue, I think, of the Pantheon. That's the White House. That's a place of demonic worship. It's like a Greek and Roman temple. I know a lot of you don't like hearing this, but you got to wake up if you're going to be a believer. You got to wake up. Now let's take a look at the Supreme Court building. Here it is, another beautiful Greek and Roman temple. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. This might have moved. No, that's it. That's the Supreme Court. And you could see there's a graven image right up there on the side of some demonic thing. I don't know what the heck it is. Okay. Here's another picture of the Supreme Court. They're making a parody with the pillars, but look at the Tiffium with graven images, three-dimensional images up there. Who the heck are these images? I don't know who they are. It's evil. It's demonic. That's another temple of the unclean spirits. Let's look at the New York Stock Exchange. You don't follow the money trail. Let me get a good picture for you. Here it is, number 11 Wall Street. I worked there as a kid for a summer job in college. You can look at the Tiffium with the graven images. This is another demonic temple. I'll give you one more and then we'll quit. I could go through the Statue of Liberty, which is another demonic idol. That's another one of these temples. Here, I'll show it to you. Church never teaches this, do they? Why would they? There it is. There's your temple. Some flat-chested woman, I don't know if it's a woman or some other mixed up person that doesn't know what sex they are, and you have holding a torch, come to the light, having a crown as if it's some sort of royal entity holding some power, a board or something. I don't know what the heck it is, but I don't really care. It's a demonic idol. Now, there's a big movie company in America called Columbia Motion Pictures. You've probably heard of it more than once. And this Columbia Motion Pictures has an icon. It's the Statue of Liberty. Flat-chested woman, who knows if it's a woman, holding the light on a pedestal, come to me. Okay? Holding some stuff, all right? Come to me. I am the light, I am the way. And what is the name of that? Columbia. What's the capital? That's the Statue of Liberty. They call it Columbia. That's the if you want to put a name on the whore from Revelation 17, it's Columbia. What is the capital of the United States called? The District of Columbia. It's not in any of the 50 states. It's run by the Fed. Okay. Now, you go to Revelation 17, and it tells us who the whore is. Revelation 17, the last verse is 18, I think. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's the District of Columbia. That's Washington, D.C. The name of it's Columbia. Shut up, Beulah! Sorry about that. Now, they got a demon on top of the Capitol that seems to be the same woman. Now, I've done this many times, and people just don't really want to hear it. Here it is again on the top of the Capitol. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of graven images in America. Let's go to the Library of Congress and see some real disgusting ones over there. Yeah, it's a bad image. Where can I get a good image? Inside the Library of Congress is a place called the Great Hall, and they have a picture of a woman holding something up in the air. Does that remind you of the Statue of Liberty, Columbia? Maybe this will come out. I hope you could see this. This is Zeus, or I don't know, one of their sicko god images. The god of the sea, Neptune, maybe. I don't know. It's in the Library of Congress outside the fountain. They got a graven image of this false god. Maybe that image of that woman was in the Jefferson building or something. No, I think it was in the Great Hall, but it was in one of their federal buildings. They're loaded with them. They got a picture in the White House of George Washington wearing the Masonic apron. They have a Washington monument with pictures of that goof. You know, the slave owner, that guy, right? So I can keep going, but we won't finish the Bible study. So let's get, you got the idea yet? I mean, I'll give you one more to get you riled up, okay? Let me get a good image of it. Maybe this one here. No, you can't even see anything. Google Images got bad resolution on this iPad anyway. I'll find the best shot I can get at this. No, it's not the greatest, but this is a Boy Scout of America statue in Washington, D.C. Notice this big, strapping, muscular man walking around buck naked with his son. And the woman is a homely woman, flat-chested. Is she really a woman? Standing there with her clothes on, and the kid has a Boy Scout uniform on. Why would a man want to stand around walking with his clothed wife and his small son buck naked? Can somebody say pedophilia? Epstein Island? Have they changed? Are they still, this is an old statue. Are they still this way? God does not call it the daughter of Babylon for nothing. Beulah, shut up! I'll have to take her home if she doesn't calm down. Let me quickly go in the chat. I got to periodically check this thing. Oh, there's a ton of stuff in here. New Zealand, okay. Nancy Pelosi, yeah, she's another one, isn't she? I know what she is. Most people wouldn't believe me if I told you. Yeah, they couldn't put out the fires in America, yeah. Well, that was what California did to the water. In the world, not of the world. Yep, there you go. Excellent. Okay, back to the Bible. Where am I? 39 or 40? I think I'm at 39. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there. That's in America. And the owls shall dwell there, and it shall be no more inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Jehovah, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come. It doesn't specify Canada anywhere. You know, because the neighboring cities of Sodom and Gomorrah went, there's a thought maybe Canada too. But then again, it is still a separate country and it's standing up against Trump. But if they're hosting foreign armies in Canada to come in to attack America, you would think, oh, that means Canada will be destroyed. No, Canada might make it because God's raising up these armies to attack America. I don't know. But right now, Canada is not America. You have to understand that. Okay? Completely separate and different. Just next door. Is Mexico part of America? No. Why do you say Canada? See what I'm saying? Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. It's very unspecific. It's hard to figure it out. But wait, we got a lot of countries I'm going to name. Give me a chance. That are in the scriptures. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. There sounds Muslim to me, and you'll see more of this in a few moments. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Sus, that could mean a vehicle or aircraft. I doubt they're going to be just on horses, right? But what would you say thousands of years ago? A tank, an aircraft, people would know what you're talking about. Upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babel. Okay, they're really bearing down. The king of Babel hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. That brings us a reminder of what happens to those, in Jeremiah 30, when the attack against us, they get scared very bad too. And the Israelites, it appears from Jeremiah 30, get scared also. So they reap it back. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. Now, this appears to be that they're coming up against Israel and they run away. That's probably courtesy of the two witnesses, or it could be the Lord, but I'm leaning towards the two witnesses from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who shall appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Well, the two witnesses are seen standing next to the Lord of the whole earth in Zechariah 4, and it is likely speaking about Yeshua. Okay, that's who I believe it's speaking about. I think, push come to shove, I would say Yeshua. Therefore, hear you the counsel of Jehovah that he hath taken against Babel, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. I think this is the children of the invaders. They bring young kids with them too, So, at the noise of the taking of Babel, the earth is moved. Let's check the words here. Maybe that's when the trumpet is blown. I don't know. Could be. Taking of Babel, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. What's that word for cry? No, it's a shriek or a cry. So I'm not thinking it's the I don't know. It could be the trumpet and then they cry and shriek, or it could be just them screaming and bloody murder, help me, or something like that. It could be both of them, because it's felt throughout the whole earth, and could be the trumpet, Thus saith, now I'm in Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith Jehovah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Well, what's the word for wind here? Ruach, a destroying spirit, it could be. Okay. And it could be like tornadoes and stuff, and it could also probably more like weather wind, like tornadoes and storms, I'm thinking. I will send to Babel fanners that shall fan her and shall empty their land. That means they're going to fan the good stuff, the wheat, away from the chaff. And so they're going to, this is the looting and the pillaging and the spoiling. And it shall empty her land in the day of trouble. They shall be against her round about, like what happens to us in Zechariah 12, which America was responsible for the beginning with Netanyahu on October 7th and letting it happen. So that happens to them. The siege happens to us, and then it happens to them. They get it back. What they do gets done to them. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigadine, and spare you not her young men, destroy you utterly all her hosts. That's all her army. So do I think that would have applicability to the troops not in America, if there are any at that time? Yes, I do think it would be applicable. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. Well, if you get shot with a bullet, you're thrust through, right? For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God. See, that most of the so-called Christians in the world don't believe this. Of his Elohim, Jehovah of hosts, though their land is filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Well, that goes with the 2,000-year punishment where he turned his face away from them. That's why he's forgiving them. Flee out of the midst of its, it doesn't say 2,000 years in Hosea 6:1-2. It says 2 days. And Peter says 1,000 years is like a day. So the punishment wasn't 48 hours. It was roughly 2,000 years. But when he says 2 days, it's not a precise, accurate 2,000 years, I would say. So we don't know the exact year. We don't get precision timing on that, but it's roughly 2,000 years. So we're there. Flee out of the midst of Babel and deliver every man his soul. That word is nephesh, I believe. Soul, not spirit, which is ruach. Be not cut off in her lawlessness, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. It doesn't say day of vengeance. He will render unto her. It probably precedes the day of vengeance, okay? If it didn't, there wouldn't be any nations left to be attacking her, would there? Jeremiah 30:11, Jeremiah 46:28. So it precedes. He will render unto her a recompense, a payback for the evil. Babel hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The heathen nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. They're all crazy right now. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. It happens very fast and unexpectedly. In a day or in an hour. It's very quick. Well, for Washington, D.C. anyway. Howl for her, take balm for her wound, for her pain. If so be she may be healed. See, this is not Trump trying to heal America. When Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed, they try to heal her. So it's not Trump. We would have healed Babel, but she is not healed. You see, the looting of America is going to take more than a day or an hour. So, there's going to be ongoing battle there. I think Washington, D.C. gets destroyed in a day or an hour. We would have healed Babel, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go every man to his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Jehovah hath brought forth our righteousness. That's the appearing of the Son and the Son of Man, bringing forth the righteousness. Okay? So that happened. And then what do you see? Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord, of Jehovah Elohim, the Lord our God. Make bright, or it's Jehovah God, I would say better, it's not Yahweh, it's Jehovah. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields, missile defense system, arrows, missiles. Jehovah hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babel to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Jehovah, the vengeance of his temple. So now the question is, who does this mean when it says the Medes in Jeremiah 51:11? I will tell you. I'm checking my notes here. Use my notes. The Medes are basically the Kurd-ish people with a K, and they live in northwestern Iran, northwestern Iran. Okay. Maybe this part of Iran doesn't get bombed in the near future, or maybe Trump never gets a chance to bomb Iran because they attack him while he's trying to negotiate with them. Like Japan attacked America. Same old story. While they were negotiating, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. At the actual time of the bombing, I believe the negotiators were still in Washington, D.C. Okay. So I don't think Iran is going to be completely wiped out yet. Or how could this happen? Right? So Iran is probably going to, you see, the vengeance on America precedes the day of vengeance when the nations get it, all of them. So you guys are getting over here pretty quick. I'll teach you about falafel, and I'll teach you about shawarma and tahini and pita bread and all that. Don't worry, I'll teach you all that stuff. I'm a foodie. You got to learn to eat, right? I'm getting the most delicious fruit these days. I'm shocked. I bought 2 baskets of strawberries. I want to tell you, these strawberries were superb. I only eat 5 or 6 at a time because they're big. They're good. I got blueberries buried in the refrigerator somewhere. I got to find them. And I've been eating grapes, not wine, fresh grapes, right? And they're pretty darn good too. So I don't know what's going on here, but I mean, I don't ever remember strawberries that nice. His device is against Babel to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Jehovah, the vengeance of his temple. This could be the vengeance from the old temple with the Babylonians, because it's the same unclean spirits working America as in the old Babylon, or maybe it's referencing the next temple. I'm really stumped. I don't know. Let's keep reading. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. The only walls I know about are the ones between Mexico and America, like 2,000 miles of walls. Trump's continuing, since he took office, construction of more walls at a rapid rate. The walls, that's going to be very important as we progress. Make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes. So you got watchmen and ambushes on the wall. What was the name of the president who just put the soldiers at the border wall? Trump. It's in place. They're waiting to ambush those that try to cross, and they're playing watchmen watching. This is in place. The watchmen prepare the ambushes, for Jehovah hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters. Okay, now let us discuss how many waters the daughter of Babylon has, and I want to apologize because in the past I told you, but I've underestimated it in the past, so I was in error, and I'm sorry. There are 8,000 rivers of some sort in America, but it's not an accurate number. Let's go through it. There are three, we're going to do lakes first. Okay, so forgive me, we'll do lakes first. 3 million lakes in America. Most of them are in Alaska. But Alaska is America, is it not? Yeah. 3 million lakes. Now that has a minimum of 10 square miles or more. 3 million lakes in America with a minimum 10 square miles. There are 250,000 rivers in America, not 8,000, sorry. 250,000 with a cumulative total of 3 million miles. 3 million miles. You're surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic in the east, Pacific in the west, Gulf of America, now Trump calls it, why not? Gulf of America in the south and Canada in the north. And then also, if you want to put icing on the cake, Alaska's surrounded by waters, and so's Hawaii. And so's Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So they teach you Mecca in Saudi Arabia is the daughter of Babylon. Hogwash. There's no Jews to come out of Mecca anyway. They'd kill them. What Jews in Mecca? Medina, another city in Saudi Arabia, same thing. It's a desert. Where's the waters? Where's the Jews coming out with? Yeah, it's a joke. The Vatican, another joke. There's 200 to 300 people that live in the Vatican. There's no Jews living there. There's no waters. Yeah, they got graven images, sure, but it ain't it. Okay, it's America. Somebody will say, oh, it's talking about the old Babylon, Iraq. Well, if it was, then the old Babylon, which is Iraq, would be devastated. Nobody would be living there, right? Are there any people living in Iraq? Yeah, there's going to be a war in Iraq. There's millions living there. America has bases there, embassies, consulates, there's airports, they got industry there. Yeah, it ain't Iraq. It can't be Iraq. It doesn't meet the test of scripture. You don't like the way I do Bible logic? Dispute it with scripture. Okay, back we go. Where am I? Verse 14. Oh, no, I'm in 13. Jeremiah 51:13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures. Well, you think America's not a rich country? Thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Oh, they're covetous. Jehovah of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men. And that's Adam. Yeah, it's okay to say that. As with caterpillars. Well, there's a little problem with this word because it could also mean a locust, a palmer worm, or a caterpillar. So it could be locust. Why did they put caterpillar in there? Probably to throw you off. But it could be. And they shall lift up a shout against thee. Well, caterpillars don't shout, nor the locusts. So it's a reference. No, I'm throwing you off. I will fill thee with men as with locusts, is what it's saying. So he's loading you up with men. Remember I told you there's millions of sleeper agents already inside the United States? Could be 3 million, 6 million, 9 million, millions, okay? I doubt Trump deported more than 100,000 people, and he's mostly just picking low-hanging fruit, people they could just grab easy. He did get some of the gangs from Venezuela. He did focus on that. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens. And he caught, you see, that's the water on the, I'm talking about, okay, let's just say it's the regular rainwater, not the water on the other side of the firmament. But it could be. He causeth the vapor to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightning with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasure. Boy, I guess a lot of people are going to be surprised that all these things don't come from CERN, do they? No, they don't. It's a lie. Verse 17, every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven images. A founder, I think, is somebody like a foundry that makes these images. I think that's the concept here. I think that's what it means. A founder, a smelter. Yeah, that's what it means. They're making the statues out of metals, I guess. Is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image, that's a metallic statue, is falsehood. Of course it is. And there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. Okay. I guess the statues will be destroyed. What religion runs around invading countries and destroying the statues? Mohammedanism, Muslims. For he is the former of all things. More on that in a few moments. Wait. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. It doesn't say rod, it says branch. The branch. Remember Romans 11, the branch, the natural branch, the other branches that are grafted in, but the natural is grafted in better. The natural is Judah, which is Judah and Levi. The other branch is the 10 tribes. The rod of his is the branch of his inheritance. Everything really belongs to Yeshua, and he shares it with us as his brethren. You see, remember those scriptures? Yeah. Jehovah of hosts is his name. Yeshua is not covetous or selfish or mean, or, none of that stuff, okay? He's great, okay? So is his father, Jehovah. Thou art my battle axe. He's not talking to America, he's talking to Israel. And weapon of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the heathens, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Has Israel done that? Yep. Are they going to do it again? Yeah, in Yemen. Gaza, now Lebanon, and Syria and Iraq probably. Keep reading. Let's see what we get if it's already ongoing for a while yet. And with thee will I break in pieces the horses and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot. We've been blowing people up in cars with those kinetic missiles, right? And his rider. And motorcycles too we've been getting. Oh, yeah. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. We've killed women. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. Yes, we've done that too. Targeted assassinations and so forth. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. Yeah, we've done that too. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. We've done that also. I remember reading about it. I feel sorry for the animals. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. Don't remember that. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. Well, remember we get all the commanders in these countries, like we got Nasrallah, the big shot. We got Sinwar in Gaza. We get them all the time, right? With thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. Gee, is your jaw hanging down yet? And I will render unto Babel, and I said that in a funny, nice way, and I will render unto Babel and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion, in your sight, saith Jehovah. I'm telling you, Biden and Netanyahu had a meeting on September 23rd. Biden was not allowed to, Netanyahu was not allowed to come to the White House until a few days before. Then all of a sudden, he goes over there September 23rd, and then October 7th happens, which was weird. All our guard was down. They let it happen. All roads lead to Iran. I told you that at that time. But they're trying to mess Israel up on the way. America is. Trump doesn't, as of yet, hasn't been doing that. We'll have to see. Behold, I am against thee, destroying mountain. That's America. Mountain's a great big heavy thing, right? Saith Jehovah, which destroyeth. It doesn't say destroyeth. It really should be translated corrupteth. Okay? Makes much more sense. Corrupteth all the earth. Sure, they corrupted all the earth with their crazy policies and all this stuff, the woke stuff and every sick thing they do, spreading churchianity and everything else. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, bad news for America, and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain. That means it's historical mountain. It's over. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith Jehovah. Set you up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations. That might be the trumpet or the shofar among the nations. What does it say here? Shofar. Among the nations, the heathen nations, prepare the nations against her, the heathen nations. Call together against her the kingdoms of Arat. Well, let's see where Arat is. Why don't we? I'm bookmarking where I am. I'll tell you where Arat is, and it's not going to be a big surprise. I just got to find it in my notes. Arat is Turkey. Gobble, 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 Erdogan, Turkey. They're having a coup attempt there, and Turkey's going to be building military bases in central Syria and stuff like that. So he's not friends with Russia. He's not so great with America either, you know. So that's what Arat is. Let's keep reading and get more countries. Why don't we? The next one is Mini. Mini is Armenia, which is by Azerbaijan. I believe they're friends with Iraq, I think. I'm not going to bother looking that up because it changes all the time anyway. And as a surprise, Ashkenaz, which is in Deutschland, Germany. Some things don't say Germany. Some things don't change, do they? How about them apples? Turkey, Armenia, and Germany hitting the United States. How's that? Did you learn something today? You're going to thank me when we're breaking falafel bread with, tahina in Israel. How about that? Appoint a captain against her. So somebody's going to head all these goofs up. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the heathen nations, Goyim, with the kings of the Medes. And that's Iran. Let me get back on my notes. The Medes are basically the Kurdish people in northwestern Iran. Some say you could also include Kurdistan and Azerbaijan, which is on the border of Iran. So the border back then could have been different. And there are also Kurds in northeastern Syria, where the American bases are, but they made a deal with the HTS government in Syria to become part of it. So maybe they join in too. I don't know. Don't know. So Trump ain't wiping out Iran. So I think there's a high probability Iran is going to attack American bases and maybe oil refineries as well in the Middle East before America has a chance to do anything. First, it appears America is going to finish pounding the daylights out of Yemen. Then it comes Iran. But like I told you, Why would the Iranians just sit there and wait for it to come? Why? That's like wearing a dunce cap. Why did I want to do that? You know? Jeremiah 51:28. You having fun yet? Prepare against her the nations, the heathen nations with kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, I don't know, generals, probably captains, generals, today generals, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of Jehovah shall be performed against Babel, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babel have forborne to fight. We talked about that, what happened to the Jews in 1939 through World War II. I think you're going to see the same thing. It'll come from the Lord. They have remained in their holes. That's their, bug out locations, their houses, or wherever they are. They hold up. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. And this is going to be your Navy SEALs, your Green Berets, your FBI SWAT guy, the whole lot of them. They're not more powerful than the Lord, I promise you. Take that to the bank. They're not more powerful than the Lord. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babel. Today, that's Trump. That could change. He could get assassinated, right? Or die, or whatever, It could be Vance, or who knows, The king of Babel, that I don't think we got a long time frame, but Trump could die tonight. You don't know. He could just have a heart attack or something. You don't know. His plane can crash. We don't know anything. Except what the Bible and the Lord shows us. The king of Babel, his city is taken at one end. That's Washington, D.C., Revelation 17. And 18, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. I'll bet. For thus saith Jehovah of hosts, Elohim Yisrael, God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. That's your Matthew 13 harvest, where they separate the tares from the wheat. The tares get gathered into his barn. Israel, stop in the wilderness. The tares get bound like bundles to be burned. That means they go to the pit, and then they go to judgment, then they go to the lake of fire. It is time to thresh her yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Now, she might be the first to leave. I mean, where the people start leaving to come to Israel. She might be the first. Because the other nations are not yet destroyed, as in Jeremiah 30:11 and Jeremiah 46:28. If they were destroyed, they wouldn't be attacking America. Who would be around? They wouldn't be around. So then nobody could attack America. So it's the other way around. America goes first. Can you dig it? So you Americanos are going to be breaking falafel soon. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. That's the temple artifacts. They burned the temple. They really raked the place over when they attacked. He hath filled me with that. He hath cast me out. Maybe they went further than the Lord wanted them to. The violence done to me and to my flesh, that's Israel. And if you're in Yeshua, you're in Israel. be upon Babel, and shall the inhabitants of the violence say, of Zion, the inhabitants of Zion, Sion, say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea, the Americans, shall Jerusalem say. Look what they did to us with October 7th. You know how many dead we have and how many wounded soldiers and dead soldiers? They get the payback. They worked with Netanyahu to set this up. You want to know what happens to Netanyahu? Read Ezekiel 34. Therefore, thus, read Malachi 4, the first 3 or 4 verses. Therefore, thus saith Jehovah, behold, I will plead thy cause and take vengeance for thee, for Israel. And it's not plead like, oh, please lay your swords down. It's not that kind of word. They mistranslated to screw it up. It's to strive or contend. It's to fight. Okay? I will fight for your cause and take vengeance. How do you take vengeance without fighting? You understand? Not by pleading, like begging. They want to make Jehovah into a beggar, jackasses. Thy cause and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. I don't know if we've really seen a lot of this. Yes, in California there was an occurrence, so maybe it's in partial fulfillment. I lack the knowledge to really know about this right now. Sorry. Maybe somebody wants to do the research. I don't know. And Babel is going to be hard, though. And Babel shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, and an astonishment. And, that's like, I think maybe a play on words or sarcasm. Dragon means Satan. And, that's the land of the demons, And astonishment without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat, I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep, a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith Jehovah. So imagine they're celebrating something, maybe the attack on Iran, I don't know. Or maybe celebrating something bad that happened to Israel, I don't know. And I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep. And I guess when they're sleeping, they get whacked. They never come out of it. And the heat, that's lost. Let's check the word. I'm thinking it's lost, because it says their heat, but it doesn't say that in the text. It just says heat. I'm guessing it means lost, I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter. Lambs don't fight back, like rams with he-goats. How is Sheshach taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Because it's the biggest, toughest one. The sea has come up upon Babel. She's covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. That's, I assume, to put the fires out so the animals can dwell there and live in the mansions forever, as long as there's an earth, I guess. Okay, that's why I think this happens, one of many reasons. How he does it, I don't know. He could make the sea come up and the seed only be 6 or 8 inches or 2 inches and put the fires out. Or it could be a 5,000-foot wave that comes over it. I don't know. Probably not a big wave, because that would wreck all the structures. So it's probably just he lets the sea seep all over it. He tells the waves where to stop. So he just doesn't tell them where to stop, or he extends it. That's all. I don't know exactly how to do it, but that's the impression I get. It's probably just a few inches deep, probably not 2 inches, maybe 6 or 8 or something. I don't know. But then there might be structures on fire that are several stories high. How does that work? I don't know. You got me. We'll have to watch that develop. Maybe it is big waves. I don't know. Doesn't tell us. Her cities are a desolate, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land where in no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. So nobody's going to travel through it. And I will punish Bel in Babel. That's like another one of the demon idols from Babylon. Demons, I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up. That's a good question what that is. People probably. And the nations shall not, it's not literal, of course, and the heathen nations shall not flow together anymore unto him. Well, where do the nations flow unto him? The UN building in New York, plus they put their embassies in Washington, D.C. Yea, the wall of Babel shall fall. That's the Mexico wall, a good 2,000 miles. My people, go you out of the midst of her, and deliver you every man his soul from the fierce anger of Jehovah. So that doesn't tell you to wait for the trumpet. And, you can go, as I read it. And lest if it wasn't the case, I don't think a scripture like this would be there. I left. And lest your heart faint. Yeah, but you're a Jew, Moshe. Yeah, but if you're in Yeshua, you're a Jew too. You're an Israelite. So, it's not a heavy argument at all. Yeah, the country of Israel wouldn't let you in where they let us in, but that, it's different. Unless your heart faint and you fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Well, ruler against ruler, the Lord was showing me some of this today, okay? Biden against Trump, it's a weak way of arguing it, but Trump is against a lot of the governors in America and a lot of the mayors, right? Yeah, sanctuary cities and stuff, right? He's against a lot of politicians. He's against people that were running government agencies like Justice, FBI, CIA, NSA, Pentagon people. They're sort of kind of rulers. He's against certain congressmen, right? And the big one is against judges, and judges are against him, and they're fighting him. So I think this is already fulfilled. I think that's what the Lord showed me. This is it. It's not a civil war. It's a house divided unto itself that shall not stand. Judges are going after him all the time. Congressmen have already filed for impeachment against him, I think 2 times. That's what I think this is. I don't see a civil war. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babel, and her whole land shall be confounded, like confused, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all therein shall sing for Babylon. People get mad at me because I teach this stuff. And what do you read here? Then the heaven and the earth and all that are therein. So it's all that are in the heaven. Well, shall sing for Babylon, because the spoil was come unto her from the north, saith Jehovah. So are they really Jehovah's people that condemn me for teaching this? Or do they have another Jesus and another gospel and received another spirit? It's what I just said. Another gospel, another Jesus, and they have another spirit, not they have an unclean spirit. As Babylon hath, they don't know it probably, but they do. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, October 7th, to today. And it may get a lot worse. So at Babel shall fall the slain of all the land, which could be the earth. It says the earth in English. You that have escaped the sword, go away. So if you escape the sword, let's check that word. It means refugee. I think you could say escape the sword. Go away, stand not still. Remember Jehovah afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame has covered our faces. For strangers are come into the sanctuary of the Lord's house. Now, I did some word work on this just to make sure we got everything right, and we really do. The word here for sanctuary is mikdash, which is a temple word. Mishkan is the tabernacle word. So the sanctuary, I would say the temple of the Lord's house. The next temple is called the house because the glory of God of Israel lives in it. The house made not with hands is another scripture referencing that. Is this referencing previous temples, or is this referencing the Ezekiel 37 temple, the Malachi 3 and 4 temple, the Ezekiel chapters 40 to 48 temple, the book of Joel temple? Well, it's that one. It's the next temple that comes down from heaven, not New Jerusalem. I know the difference. Read Ezekiel 37, the last 3 verses. You'll understand why it comes down from heaven. And then carefully read Ezekiel 43. So those not circumcised in heart and flesh probably went in the temple. It's very hard to definitively say, no, it definitely is not the previous temples. It's definitely the next temple. I can't get the scriptures to decisively nail that down. Verse 52, wherefore, behold, the days come, saith Jehovah, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith Jehovah. A sound of a cry cometh from Babel, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans. because Jehovah hath spoiled Babel, in other words, it got looted, and destroyed out of her the great voice, when her waves do roar like great waters. Okay, so I guess there's going to be big waves, right? Roaring waves. The noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babel, and her mighty men are taken, every one of their bows broken. For Jehovah Elohim of recompenses, year of recompenses, shall surely requite, or pay back, could say. I think that's. I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake up, saith the King, whose name is Jehovah of hosts. So again, we read about them going to sleep and not waking up. Maybe that's what the Lord does to them. Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, the broad walls, and that could be the long walls of Babylon, the Mexican wall, shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire. I don't understand the fire burning the gates because they're like metal and concrete, but we'll find out. And the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. In other words, they're building houses and working, and it's all going to be worthless shortly. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Sariah, the son of Neriah, the son of Messiah, it's Messiah, when he went with Zedekiah, the king of Judah, into Babel in the 4th year of the reign, and Sariah was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babel, even all those words that are written against Babel. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when you comest to Babel and shall see and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place. Cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end reading this book, that thou shalt bind the stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. That's the river up there. I believe it's in Iraq. It could be Turkey, I guess. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babel sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Okay, let's jump into Isaiah 47, which is discussing it again, but it's a quick passage, 15 verses. Verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babel. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called delicate, tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal. You see, this sounds to me like the economy is crashing from the tariffs or from some other things, natural disasters, as they call it, or wars, or I don't know. But it sounds like the economy's dumped. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So this is in the times of the vengeance. The millstone and grind, it sounds like they're poor, you know. Uncover the thigh and pass over the rivers, you know, it's a sign of poverty, you know. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Does that have something to do with transgender? Thy shame shall be seen. See what I'm saying? Might be. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. For our Redeemer, Jehovah of hosts, is his name, he, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. So is the power out? Sounds like it. For thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people, that's Israel. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. There's 6.5 million known Jews, plus the lost tribes, and 6.7 million in Israel. So there's far more of them in Israel, Jews and Israelites, than there are in Israel. Thou didst show them no mercy. It's believed by many, including me, North American Indians, are lost tribes. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Okay. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Well, America was that way until recent years, you know. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. Remember, in an hour, in a day, suddenly. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, that's speaking to the demons that are running America, or the demon, or whatever. That's the people that serve them are gone, dead. And widowhood, married to the land. The land's gone, going, gone. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. Their witchcraft and sorcery, spells, and enchantments is rampant in America. I mean, there's so many millions of them doing it. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. That's all witchcraft driven. Thou hast said, they market goods that way. They sick movies, sick TV, sick everything. Everything's sick. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Yeah, the temples to unclean spirits, all the important buildings in America. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it rises. That's the snare. They're not going to see it coming. It's just going to hit them like a huge sledgehammer pounding them in the head. And mischief or trouble or bad things or evil shall fall upon, evil is a good way of saying it, shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, there you go, which thou shalt not know. They don't know from this stuff. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. From thy youth, George Washington, the Mason, this picture in the White House with the Masonic apron, that's the youth, the beginning. Ben Franklin, George Washington, two Masons, that's the youth, the beginning. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. He's making fun of them. What are they going to do, witchcraft against Jehovah? They'd try it. It wouldn't do anything. They could try it. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from the things that shall come upon thee. They can't. This is a joke. He's playing with them. Behold, they shall be stubble in the fire. Well, the two witnesses burned them up in Zechariah 12, verse 6, with stubble word being used, I believe. They shall be stubble in the fire, shall burn them. But I don't know if the two witnesses do that in America. It's a possibility, but I don't know. I don't have any indication to make me think that is the case. I would just be stabbing in the dark, guessing. They shall not burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. And then it says, there shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. So I for some reason, it seems to be like with the Egyptians, they couldn't light a fire in their house, but the Israelites could, and there was no light outside, it was dark. It seems as if Chodesh is the word for this thick darkness, it could be that. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even the merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. Well, there you have it. Let me see if we have any questions. I do answer questions. Earth is flat, probably rectangular, but it could be square. Motionless, that's right. It does not move and has pillars. Yes, it does. Is it wrong to pray for peace if it's against the Lord's will? I think you were telling me you couldn't post yesterday. I don't know if you're the same James, but apparently you can post. I couldn't find you in my block list. I would not pray against the Lord's will. It's a sign of not a good sign. It's not real sinful, bad, evil stuff, but it's like you should mature and accept His will, because all things work together for good to those that love the Lord. That's where your head should be. Okay? That's where it should be. What do you need 40? I don't know what you're talking about. I never asked anybody for $40. I can't believe my son. Oh, I don't know why you're putting that up in the chat. Looks like we got an S-bot here wants me to take my glasses and hat off, huh? No, we don't need that person here. Plasma weapons, metal gate bars, iron. Yeah, so do blowtorches. Wouldn't that burn a gate? Yeah, kind of. I didn't think of a blowtorch. You'd put them on pickup trucks and get over there and just use torches, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. Well, that about knocked me out. So my name's Moshe. Please pray for me and my wife Rivka. Pray for our peace, safety, protection, joy, healing of our bodies. Pray for our finances. Pray for better videos. Pray the Lord keeps answering questions. I believe I fulfilled what He wanted me to do today, and I hope it benefited those of you that it was designed to benefit. And pray for our animals and pets that are all rescues, that they be happy, healthy, and whole. And what else? Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Ramadan will officially be over at sundown Israel time. It's about noon now, roughly, something like that. It'll officially be over. And I would say that might open up a door for Trump to sing that song from the Beach Boys, Barbara Ann. You know how it goes, bomb, 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 Moran. You know. All right, we'll see what happens. I don't know. And I send my Shabbat Shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach. And I am out.